You got widespread attention for a prediction you made in 2015 about the dangers of a global pandemic, and you, sadly for the world, did predict the future. And so let me ask you to do it again. What are you concerned about now?
Well, this won't be the last pandemic that we face. Pandemics can come from natural causes, which is largely coming across from other species. A flu, for example, is still a very big risk. And so we'll have to invest in making sure that we catch the disease sooner and that we have platforms to make diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines very quickly. A few countries that have almost avoided the epidemic entirely, like Taiwan, New Zealand, Australia, they took their experience and actually prepared, and so they moved a lot faster. So we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
Will get attention this time.
And also seeing global leaders come together, like the European Commission did a huge pledging event for this vaccine alliance that we've been part of, and seeing money come together to say, we need this so that it's ready when the vaccine's ready to go. We can actually purchase that vaccine for the rest of the world.
Yeah, and to put it in perspective, the U.S. has spent trillions of dollars to try and deal with the problem here. We're only talking about, less than a few percent that would need to be spent on helping get rid of the disease in the entire world. So it's not like there's some gigantic trade-off. These are very small dollars, just like, the WHO is $500 million a year, for things like reproductive health, vaccines, polio, covers a lot of different areas. And so it's not competing budget-wise with the large-scale resources.
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The vaccine is the thing that will change things, and that's why really figuring out how do we make sure it's safe, because that when you give it to 7 billion healthy people, that's super important.
Is there something to worry about with medicines? That is, might some of them have side effects? Do we need safety testing? And we're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. Genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
Are you aware that there are people out there who have these conspiracy theories that this was all created by you in order to inoculate everyone in the world and put a chip into their blood so you can track them?
Yeah, that's, very strange.
Yes.
That the organization that's about saving lives and warning, gets attacked as though we were somehow connected to it.
Well, if you don't save our lives, you can't control our brains.
If both AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson work, you can actually see a plan that's starting to come together that we'd be able to make over a 2-year period pretty close to that many doses. But it won't be overnight, and so you'll have a 2-year period of manufacture if things go well. You will have to have some prioritization of who's at the front of that line and who's not at the front of that line.
Yeah, I think
it'll help everyone get out of this more quickly and reduce the deaths and reduce the economic reduction if we implement these strong isolation measures on a countrywide basis. And then the final solution, which is a year to 2 years off, is the vaccine. So we've got to go full speed ahead on all three fronts.
Just to head off the conspiracy theorists, maybe we shouldn't call the vaccine the final solution. Maybe just the best solution.
Yeah, the return to normal solution.
And it became something that, we get to do together. We're, partners in crime.
When was the last time you became angry?
Well, I didn't come up, I was talking about how there's been more polio cases than we hoped for this last year. And
I'll bet they didn't
how
think
mad
that.
that made me.
Yes, that wasn't on the top of their list.
How mad that made me.
Yes, that wasn't on the top.
No, the awareness of this is a threat, and probably the biggest threat to kill tens of millions of people. That will be permanently embedded. And I think about pandemics a lot, and even so, I can hardly believe we're in this situation.
Mm-hmm. It is. And every day it's different, isn't it?
And we need to orchestrate the numbers, the science, the innovation, and we need to do it very, very quickly. And how you get a vaccine that making 7 billion of those is going to be an incredible challenge. Well, there's no doubt, having paid many trillions of dollars, more than we might have had to if we'd been properly ready, people will this time, because it affected the rich countries. This is the biggest event that people will experience in their entire lives. We will have standby diagnostics. We will have deep antiviral libraries. We will have antibody scale-up. We will have vaccine platforms. We will have early warning systems. We will do germ games. The cost of doing all those things well is very small compared to what we're going through here. And so now people realize, okay, there really is a meaningful probability every 20 years or so, with lots of world travel, that one of these will come along. Well, I feel very confident that this time we won't ignore the potential for the next epidemic. The regions that had the least burden in the first wave were right for that second wave. So in the case of the United States, they opened up their bars. They didn't do much in the way of wearing masks. And so those areas became this second wave, not a rebound out of New York, New Jersey, but instead those regions. And so that's where Europe and the US are quite different. We have a lot of room in our house and a great internet connection. So, our case is atypically nice, and I've tried to make sure it's not loading her. But I think it's great she's speaking out, because if you're a single parent, if you're in a small space, this is a hugely difficult thing, and it's even hard to measure how tough it's been, for those without what we're lucky to have. How tough it's been, for those without.
You mentioned masks. Should masks be nationally mandated, Bill?
Well, the downside to wearing a mask is so low that, I can't understand why, it's even a controversy at all. The mask is cheap, it's easy to wear, it has no negative effects. If you're going outside your house, you put on a mask. So I am every day talking to people in government, people at drug companies, trying to make sure that we get money for the entire world.